My name is Joe Armstrong and my geocaching username is JoGPS. I started geocaching in 2001 in September. It was 8 years ago. We had 75 people show up. I did it in a town that was 150 miles from where I live. And I had a lot of help from Show Me the Cache, Deer Mark and Daggy. Helped me put the first one on. The cost of the first one was less than $100. And we have grown now. It's not your mother's caching event anymore, I promise you. We'd all talked over the phone about this, about all getting together. Then I came up with the weird solution. Well, why don't we make it an event, see if anybody else wants to meet us too? And that's how it all got started. But 75 people, for that point of time, even to be at one event, was kind of unheard of. I'm not saying it hadn't happened before, but not in this area. It had never happened. After I got the idea of actually doing an event, I started out with the first annual. And of course, in the second year, I was expected to have a second annual. So the second year, I brought it to Nashville, Tennessee, where I live. So I was able to put it together better. Cost was about 10 times more. And from there, what really picked it up was a group in Florida. Picked it up, they wanted to host the GeoWoodstock there. And first thing that I learned, we have to be sure of the hosts that are going to host GeoWoodstock. That has to be a very caring group. You know, we don't charge anybody any money to host a GeoWoodstock. We want you to give the geocacher the best value for his dollar, to make him happy and put it on the best and biggest event that's so laid back. It looks like nobody's doing anything to make everything flow. It's just naturally there. And we've really been blessed. It's been going that way ever since. And each new host gets to add a new theme. This year was kind of a Hawaii luau kind of thing. In Bell Buckle last year, it was just a small town. We actually rented the entire town and had this at. And the year before that, it was in California at a small family type farm with farm animals and everything. It worked great. And this year, of course, it was on a vegetable farm, vegetable and fruit farm, which really worked out good too. We've had them in state parks, state fairgrounds. Our next one next year in Warren, Pennsylvania will also be in a state park. A county fairground. And of course, all the fairgrounds people are always wanting to work with us because we do bring a considerable amount of dollars. We never have tried to persuade them like most other convention type things are. You know, this is the amount of money we're going to bring to your area. You know, but we're able to show them the numbers that we have brought, and we've always had good relationships with all the city planners. We've also had all the tourism departments work with us great. They're willing to do anything they can to get us to come. It's actually turned into something now that's like, you know, before we were having to beg them to help us, and now they're begging us to help them because they know we can bring it in. Because we've been consistent, our numbers grow larger every year. Even in a depression or semi-depression, our numbers keep growing. You can only take so much fun away from somebody. And people are going to have fun that enjoy a sport this much. It's just great. Back in the early beginning, on the forums, believe it or not, this is one of the things that got this started. It was Jeremy, a lot of other people, and myself. Of course, Jeremy has all along said, this game is not about the numbers. And I was on the other side saying, sometimes it is about the numbers. And that pertained to, because that's what I was doing. I was accumulating a lot of numbers at one time, and I was third in the world for 2 or 3 years. But everybody assumed that everybody was in the top 10. We're kind of like, little bitter enemies going back at each other, but we weren't. We were all friends. We emailed each other all the time, and spoke to each other sometimes over the phone. And I asked every one of the top 10 where would be a good place for us to all get together for one time and just actually meet each other. And every person in the top 10 except for one, I think, was able to make it. And they came from Minnesota and New Jersey and just Missouri, everywhere. And of course, out of Tennessee, we had 2 from Tennessee. And it was all about the numbers, the high numbers of people who want to meet each other. And that's how it all got started. Over the years, that has changed for GeoWoodstock. It's still about the numbers, but it's about the number of friends you make, the number of smiles you get while you're just walking around. And it's all about just having a good time.